please don't waste your life in a 9-to-5 job. I don't care if you're in cybersecurity or whatever it is that you do as your skill set. Don't waste your life in a 9-to-5 job. And let me just make one thing overwhelmingly clear. If you're pursuing cybersecurity or pursuing some kind of skill set like that in hopes of getting a job, I'm not trying to discourage you from doing that. I think it is a very smart stepping stone, and you might be wondering, what are you talking about? This makes no sense, right? Stay tuned to the end of the video. I'll cover that and exactly why you are on the optimal path. But right now, I just finished running a call with my students, and I'm about to go across the street and grab some coffee. Here's a view from my Airbnb in Osaka. You can see there's these little vending machines all over the place. They sell coffee, including hot coffee. Isn't that crazy? If you haven't been to Japan, pretty mind-blowing when you first see that. But I'm gonna go to that one right there and grab some hot coffee and start my day. So come along with me. So while we're on our way to get coffee, let's just talk about the standard path that most people subscribe to in life. You know, the idea that you're gonna go and, you know, the whole goal is to get this high-paying job. And then once you have the high-paying job, you know, nowadays, you're probably gonna job hop every 2 to 3 years so you can get that salary up even more and more. And let's be honest, if you're like most Americans, you're gonna increase your standard of living as you increase your, you know, your salary as well. So you're gonna buy more expensive things and keep up with the Joneses, or I guess the Kardashians, as they say nowadays, right? You're probably gonna do that. And even if you don't, if you think, oh, I'm gonna be frugal, I'm not like those people. Okay, well, guess what? Your standard of living is still going up, or your cost of living, I should say, right? Because the, you know, inflation is kicking in, right? How much more expensive are groceries in the US in the last 3 years, right? Yeah, so that's a trend that, you know, maybe we get a little reprieve from with the new legislation and stuff, but like, can you really count on that? You know, 10 years down the line, what is gonna be the price of stuff? No, the inflation will continue to increase. The prices are gonna continue to go up. So, you know, if you subscribe to that lifestyle of, you know, just work for the company until you can retire. How old do you have to be in the US? I think it's like, what, 65, 67? I don't know. They always keep going up on the retirement age, so I don't even know what it is anymore. Maybe you can let me know in the comments. But, and if you live in another country, maybe you got a little bit better conditions, but I mean, how much better really? How old do you have to be to retire in your country, right? It's probably pretty old. And I'll tell you this, if I waited till I was in my late 60s to do what I'm doing now, to be in Osaka and do all this stuff, my experience would be so much different. It would be so much lesser than what it is now, when I'm young, when I'm healthy, you know. So don't think that you're gonna just retire and be able to do live life the way that you always dreamed of. And do you really want to defer on like 80 to 90% of your life to start living when you're in your late 60s? You know, what's the life expectancy? I think it's like 80 years old. It's going up, right? Maybe 70 something for a male, 80 something for a female. Do you really want to defer on like that many years of your life till you can start living? Yeah, I don't know. To me, it just doesn't make sense. And if you think that, oh yeah, well, I'm just going to put my money in the stock market or whatever, I encourage you, play around with a compound interest calculator. See how long would it really take. The results will shock you, I think. It takes a lot longer. If you get a 3% return, which you can always get a 3% return, it's going to take a lot longer than many people realize. So if you're looking to develop a skill set that you can take with you wherever you go in life and will allow you to work for yourself, get into business for yourself, and essentially gain more freedom in your life rather than following the path that is about a decade or so outdated and hoping that everything will work out when you're in your late 60s, then definitely check the link down in the description below, fill out a brief survey, and we will get you on the path. So first of all, why am I in Osaka? Well, to be quite honest with you, it's because 2 to 3 weeks ago, I decided I wanted to come here. So I just booked it. Didn't have to ask for anyone's permission. Didn't have to get like a approval. Didn't have to, you know, log my hours to see, do I have enough vacation days and all that stuff. No, I just booked the ticket, booked the Airbnb, and now I'm here. And I'm not saying this to be like, oh, look how great I am. The reason I'm saying this is I want to shed some light into my lifestyle now compared to when I worked a 9 to 5, because I've been in both scenarios, right? I used to work the 9 to 5 like some of you guys do or some of you guys aspire to do, and now I'm working for myself. And I just want to shed some light on what is possible, because when I was in the position that probably a lot of you guys are in, I didn't even know that what I'm doing now is something that you could do, right? We live in a much different time than our parents, than our grandparents, certainly. And the opportunities that are available to us today are so much different than what the world has ever seen before. So there's really no reason that you have to just sit in a 9 to 5 if that's not what you want to do. And so just to contrast it, I don't have to worry about these things that I had to worry about before. And here's the deal as well. Even when I was working the 9 to 5 and I had a really good setup of where I was remote and stuff like that, well, we saw how quickly that changed. And probably a lot of you guys have felt that too in the last couple of years. How many of you used to be fully remote and now you're hybrid? Now you find yourself, oh, it's only once a week. It's only twice a week. It's only 3 times a week. Now you look at Amazon, right? Oh, now we're back 5 days a week, right? So it is a slippery slope there too. But the point being is that it's not something in your control, right? That is something that an executive can wake up one day and now they make this decision that changes your whole life. Now you got to go in, and in the least case, you're going to have to go job hunt again, which is also annoying, right? With me in this situation, there's nothing that can really change it other than, I don't know, me being stupid about like blowing all my money or something like that, which is not going to happen. But you're in control. That's the point, right? And so if you want more freedom and flexibility, you don't necessarily have to start a company, but you want to work for yourself in some capacity, right? Whether that's, starting your own company or being a freelancer or contractor, whatever it is, bug bounty hunter. There's a lot of opportunities in cybersecurity to get a setup like this as well. Here's another problem with the 9 to 5, right? And it's that even if you have a sweet setup where you can work remotely, right, in 2024, they're still around. I've helped multiple people get jobs in that just this year, by the way, people that I'm mentoring. But even if you get that setup, the thing is, and the thing that a lot of people don't understand is that oftentimes it's not that you can work from anywhere, it's that you can work from somewhere. So the difference between the two is it's not like you can come to Osaka because, hey, 2 weeks ago I wanted to come here, now I'm here working my 9 to 5. In most cases, you can't do that. It's that you have to declare to them where you're going to work from, and they expect you to be working from that place. So, and that place can be far from an office. That's really what remote work means. Now, there's ways around it. There's little tips and tricks and like gray area things that I'm not necessarily going to advocate on this video, but that is a big challenge, right? That is a big thing. And so if you really want to remove all of the stress and all the headache and just be able to live life more on your own terms, quite frankly, the only way to do that is to go into business for yourself. And on top of that, right, even if you say, hey, well, I know where I want to work from. I want to work from Thailand. I watch Ryan's videos, I watch Elevate Cyber, and I see Thailand, and I've been wanting to go there for a long time. It looks awesome. I want to make that happen. Well, here's the problem if you try to do that for a 9 to 5. Unfortunately, but I want to be fully transparent with you. If you try to do that, I would say 9 times out of 10, what these companies are going to do is say, yeah, you know what? That's okay. Yeah, you can work from there. You can work from Thailand. We're just going to slash your salary into like a 10th or a 5th of what it was, right? Because it's like 5 times cheaper in Thailand, so we're going to pay you 5 times less, right? We're going to pay you a 5th of what we're paying you. And they'll be happy to do that. They'll be happy to get that bargain deal from you. And make no mistake, I've talked about this before, but if you work for a 9 to 5, they're already fleecing you. Let's be honest. They are making so much more money off of you than what they're paying you. And I mean, I'm not going to necessarily slight them for that. They would be out of business if they weren't doing that. The purpose of a business is to make money. And so if they're paying you what you're worth, by definition, they are losing money. They are breaking even in the best case, right? They're not making money. They're not making a profit. So it basically the trade-off that you make when you say, hey, I'm going to work a 9 to 5 is you're saying, hey, I'm willing to not be paid what I'm worth so that I have a stable paycheck. And to be fair, for some people, that's a better option for them. They would rather do that. And hey, I'm not going to fault any of you guys for that. I'm not going to judge you for that. Do that. But I'm just presenting you a little bit of the behind the scenes. I know how this stuff works. I'm on the other side now and just kind of comparing and contrasting the two. So that is another thing I'll say. But what I don't want you guys to get it twisted. I'm not saying that, you shouldn't pursue cybersecurity or you shouldn't pursue these skill sets and try to get a job. In fact, I will advocate to you to do what I did. I will say, yes, go down that path. It is very smart to start out with the 9 to 5, but don't, get complacent once you land that 9 to 5. Don't stagnate. I know a lot of people that, they subscribe to, like I was saying in the beginning of the video, that standard life path, and they stop elevating yourself. This is why it's called Elevate Cyber. I want you guys to keep elevating and look beyond the 9 to 5. We live in 2024. There's no reason why you need to confine yourself to this boomer lifestyle and think that that is your only option. It is far from your only option. And you don't need nearly as much money as you think to make this happen, especially if you go to a place like Asia, Southeast Asia, Asia, South America, any place like this. In fact, even the UK, like I know my brothers in the UK are saying that cybersecurity is paying them like $30K a year, which is crazy to me. But they have a lower cost of living. So a lot of these places you can go and you can live for a much lower cost of living. You don't need to make as much money as you think to be able to pull this off. So that's the first thing. And secondly, the reason that I would recommend to work the 9 to 5 first is because for one thing, it's going to build up your reputation, right? If you want to start a company that's based off of your skill set, if you can say, hey, I have X number of years in the field, I have this experience, this is what I did. Well, now more people are going to see you as that authority figure. So when you sell the product, right, even if it's not like an education-based business like I do, if it's like you're selling like a product to fulfill a need, right? Because let's be honest, a lot of these companies are getting breached in recent years. And what happens when they get breached? Well, they start throwing money at the problem, right? It is what it is. They look for cybersecurity products that can solve the problem. So if you have experience, here's the second thing, if you have experience in the field, some time working in cybersecurity or whatever it is, you are going to have insights from a unique vantage point to see what these problems are that these companies are facing. And you're going to know you're going to be positioned uniquely to solve these problems. So if you create a business or provide some kind of service, maybe going into business for yourself that will address these problems that these companies are having, for one thing, that's going to help the company a lot more. And secondly, it's going to uniquely position you to be able to create a successful business that's based around actual problems rather than you just trying to guess what would be a good business idea, right? So that is why I highly recommend, even if you want to go this route, to follow the path similar to what I did, right? Work in cybersecurity for a number of years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever it is, not until you're, about to croak over and then, hoping that you can live enough off of Social Security and 401k and stuff, but actually have like a goal in mind, right? To make this happen if this is what you want to do. So that would be my advice to you. So let me know what you think about that down in the comments section below. And yeah, there's a lot of these stuff. I wish people told me this when I was starting out. I had no idea that this was something that you could do. Luckily, I kind of stumbled into it. I hung around the right people that were doing similar things with their skill sets. And it really gave me the idea, because when I was in this field, like I said earlier, when I was in this field and I saw all these people that were trying to break into it and I saw how difficult it was to do so, and I was interviewing all these candidates and I was like, well, what the candidate doesn't understand is like, what we're looking for is this. He thinks we're looking for this other thing, and his resume looks like everyone else's that we've looked at, but he doesn't know that, right? There were all these things, and it's like, that's when I started to think about how can I help people on a wider scale. And that's when I created Elevate Cyber to fulfill that need. And so if you guys are interested in breaking into cybersecurity, going down this path, eventually working for yourself, maybe you're in cybersecurity already or have some kind of skill set already and you're looking to make that next step into gaining more freedom and control over your life, then go down in the description below and follow that link, fill out the survey, and we will get you on the path